Okay, so let's move on to the first game on Sunday, which was the Rams and the Buccaneers. That was another interesting game. The Rams came out like gangbusters against the defending champs. I mean, they were up 27-3 at one point. They were up 20-3 at halftime. They had the ball on the 2-yard line with just a few seconds left, and what's his name? What's the Rams running back? I keep drawing a blank. I should remember these things.
Akers?
Akers, yeah, that's right. Cam Akers, right. He fumbled the ball there on the 2-yard line, and the half ran out. Otherwise, it would have been 23. But then the Rams took the second half kick and scored. It was 27-3. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, the Rams fell apart. I mean, they fumbled the ball. Stafford looked like he looked like Cinderella. Like the clock had struck 12. In the second half, he was making not as crisp decisions as he made in the first half. And all of a sudden, the Buccaneers claw back into this game, and they tie it with just a few minutes left on that run by Leonard Fournette down at the goal line. Well, then, we both watched this. Game's tied 27-27. The Rams have a chance to go down and kick the game-winning field goal, and they fumble the ball. Cam Akers fumbles it again. The Buccaneers get it. They drive all the way down, or maybe that was before. I remember.
I think that led to Leonard Fournette's touchdown.
That led to the touchdown. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Because after that, there were 42 seconds left.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And then the Rams drive down and don't drive.
They throw that long pass to who was it?
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. How do you let him get behind you like that?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I think the Rams had some timeouts. Maybe I don't remember.
They had one.
Okay.
They had to have. Well. No, I don't think they had any because remember they had to get down there and spike it.
That's right, because they would have had to use their timeouts when the Bucs were driving to tie it.
They did use the
timeouts. No, I'm sorry, they wouldn't have done that.
The Bucs used their timeouts. Yeah.
My point is, you're right. They had to run down there to spike it.
Right.
How do you let that happen?
You can't. You can't let that happen.
I go back and forth with. If you look at the second half of this game and the way it ended, the Bucs should have won the game.
They should have.
Yeah. But really, I mean. It was the Rams' game from the start. They should have never had to let the Bucs get back in it.
Well, what let the Bucs back in it was fumbles.
Yeah, right. So my point is the team that should have won. I think
the
Rams should have won.
I agree with that.
I don't know if I'd necessarily say the better team won, but the team that should have won the better team on that day won.
I agree. You look at the stats. The Rams. I mean. For all intents and purposes, Matthew Stafford had a great day. I mean, he was 28 of 38, 366 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
He's a great quarterback. I think people have known for years that he's a great quarterback. He's just stuck in Detroit. But every now and then, though, he does make some... He plays... In some games, he plays in a way that you kind of never would see, like Brady play or Manning play in their heights of their careers or any of these great quarterbacks.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Favre, any of these guys, like you know what I mean. He kind of looks strange sometimes.
He does. He has that ability to make you scratch your head. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? I mean Brady never does that. I mean Brady, you never scratch your head and say, "Man, why did he do that?" But Stafford, you do.
Well, and maybe this year or last year, there's been a couple of times you might do that, Brady, but he's like 44 years old. I'm saying when they were dominant. Oh, he's still dominant, but you know what I'm saying.
Now, how about Cooper Kupp? 9 catches, 183 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, the guy won the Triple Crown this year in receiving. He led the league in yards, catches, and touchdowns. I saw an interesting thing, which, actually I thought this was really interesting. One of the ESPN guys, I think it was that Ryan Clark guy, said, it's time to stop talking about Cooper Kupp. Is he another Julian Edelman? Is he another Wes Welker? He goes, because he's white. He says he's the best. He's one of the best, if not the best receivers in the league. And I think that was an excellent point. I mean, Cooper Kupp may be the best receiver in the league right now. I mean, the guy is phenomenal.
He is.
Yeah.
Well, how are you going to say he's not?
he runs precise routes. He catches the ball in traffic. He's great. I mean, I just think he's a great receiver. And another thing that's going to help the Rams? Look at what Odell Beckham's done the last few games. Yeah, he's starting to become the Odell Beckham we remember the first couple years in New York.
Right, but I don't think you can bank on that long term. This year, I think it's going to continue.
This year, right.
But Cooper Kupp's the guy you can bank on more long term.
Yeah, but why did they get Beckham this year? They went all in this year.
I know.
Right.
But Cooper Kupp, it's hard to believe. Is this guy really that hard to stop? Is he the best? Hey, look, I think he is the best receiver in the league. No question right now, but it's it's almost strange. In another reason it's strange is he's been in the league since 2017. Where has this been the first 4 years.
Well, he had Jared Goff throwing to him the first 3 years.
I guess
that's part of it. I think is that he didn't have the quarterback he's got right now, but he did have He had some good years.
He had some. Look, in 2019, he had let's see here, 94 receptions for 1,161 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's solid.
Yeah.
The next year, 92 receptions for 974, 3 touchdowns. Like.
He was hurt a little bit last year.
Okay, yeah. I guess my point is it just seems like a really crazy jump all of a sudden, like out of nowhere. But maybe that's because Stafford's there.
Quarterback. It's got to be. I mean, it makes a big difference.
And maybe they never really were treating him as if he was the number one. I mean, maybe he was more of a, I don't remember, but maybe they had more in the slot his first couple of years, and they didn't think he was number one.
I think they did, actually, because I think they had Robert Woods who got hurt this year.
Yeah, they used to have that Woods guy, which this guy's better than Woods.
Yeah. And he ran, I think you're right. That's a good point, Nathan. I think they put him in the slot
and they treat him like he was number one.
Yeah.
So if they would have been treating him like one, and he had a quarterback, he probably would be this dominant.
And I think to answer your question, is it's so hard to stop this guy? I think, with the rules today in the NFL where you can't hardly touch a receiver, and then you get a guy that runs really good routes, it is hard to stop a guy like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, imagine... he's 6'2", 208. I'm not exactly sure like how that ranks with receivers.
That's fairly good size, I think.
My point was, I was just saying, imagine like if T.O. was at the height of his career. Now he'd be talking about unstoppable. I mean, like my point is, if you look at the season Cup had, right, it ranks up there probably all time with some great seasons. But take these all time great receivers and put them in the league right now. I mean,
right,
it's a lot different. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. No, I agree with that. I agree with that. And, the Rams only ran the ball for, 73 yards, which really wasn't a lot of rushing yards. Let's look at the Buccaneers. Brady had 329 yards passing. I think the Rams did exactly what they wanted. They forced him to throw the ball 54 times. When the Rams beat the Buccaneers in Week 3 in the regular season, Brady had to throw it 55 times. So I think what you want to do is you want to take away the running game, which they did. The Buccaneers only had 51 yards rushing. In fact, Fournette was the only guy who gained any yards rushing, and they pretty much forced him to throw the ball. Mike Evans had 8 catches, 119. Gronk had 85 yards and 4 catches. But after that, it was just kind of yeoman's work by the other guys out of the backfield. And I think their defense played excellent. They pressured Brady. He was sacked 3 times. He was hit quite a bit. I think that's how you beat Tom Brady. I've said this year for a long time. You beat him with your front 4. You got to pass rush him with your front 4. And the Rams with Aaron Donald and I keep forgetting this guy. What's the guy they got from Denver?
Von Miller.
Von Miller. Guys like that coming off the edge. It's hard to hard to beat.
I've said this for years. Fournette's severely underrated. All right. I'm glad they're starting to treat him more like the number one guy, because I feel like at points, especially early last year, they felt like they wouldn't give him a whole lot of carries, but he's dominant. Right. It's a shame that the Buccaneers aren't going to be in the NFC Championship Game anymore, because I feel like they're so good. I mean, in with Brady, but the Rams are going to be fun to watch too. My point is, I think the NFC has had the much stronger teams in the playoffs.
I agree.
The Rams, the Bucs.
I agree.
The 49ers,
Packers, I agree.
I don't know,
but I think what hurt the Buccaneers more than they'll admit is the loss of Chris Godwin. His injury takes away from
and Antonio Brown.
And Antonio Brown, yeah, right.